You never want to have to, but you have to want to.
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am James Festini, Southern California real estate agent and a sales trainer and coach. Fortunately for you, I walk the walk and I talk the talk. And this week, I want to talk to you about setting a standard and not going below it. But first, I need you to hit the subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, share it with your friends, make sure that you get my content as soon as possible, and also I have a membership platform now on YouTube where you can hit subscribe and you get access to hundreds and hundreds of hours of video that has never been seen before. You will get access to it immediately, along with my 2 sessions a month live Q&A and all sorts of other good stuff. Anyhow, let's talk about my quote, my saying. I'm pretty sure I made it up because I didn't read it anywhere. And it goes this way: you never want to have to, but you have to want to. We look at great athletes, great innovators, entrepreneurs, Musk, Jobs, LeBron, right? Woods, Jackson, you know the names. By one name alone, you know. And you have to understand that these people have set a standard so high that if they fall below this standard, they are hard on themselves and they are hard on the people around them. But first, they hold themselves accountable for failure and success. When you look at, for example, LeBron or Kobe, when you look at their work ethic and how hard they pushed, they were their biggest critics. Nobody else can tell them otherwise. That's how they raised the bar. That's how they became the best of the best. There was no one else to compete with. Once they saw the pinnacle of the best, they had to be that and then some. So when I talk to you about real estate and what it takes to be a successful salesperson, I say you never want to have to, but you have to want to. Meaning, you never want to have to do this. You never want to be in a position where you say, oh my gosh, if I don't sell X amount of houses before the end of the year or the month, I'm out of the business. If I don't move this amount of product, I'm out of the business. If I don't this, then this doesn't happen. That means I have to. And you never want to have to do it. You come from a place of desperation. You come from a place of an expectation that you have to succeed because you have no option to fail. But worse than that is knowing that you're going to fail because you're not performing at the best of your standard. You're already setting yourself up for failure, therefore you have to. You never want to have to. You never want to be forced to pick up the phone and make your calls. That's not something that you should think to yourself, oh my God, I got to do my 100 calls today. Oh my God, I'm going to sit on the phones for 6 hours. How can I possibly be? Oh my God, I have to knock this many doors. That's not even possible. But looking at the old cliche sales story of Roger Bannister back in the day in the 40s or 50s, right? If you haven't heard it, Roger Bannister, he was the one who broke the 4-minute mile. Never been done in the history of mankind. 4 minutes for a man to run a mile or a woman to run a mile. Never been done. Roger Bannister does it. And then within a year, several dozen people do it because suddenly the game changed. Suddenly it changed. So when you think of like, I don't know, sports are not my thing too much, but when you think of like LeBron, how would LeBron size up with Magic Johnson? I just don't think it would compare because the game has changed. It's been elevated, right? There's the best of the best for their era, but now the athleticism, the standards by which you can compete in this game have accelerated, right? Extreme sports like surfing, big wave surfing, or downhill skiing, or these zipper, what do they call them, wingsuits, the squirrels, flying squirrel suits or whatever. These guys jumping off the cliff, opening up their arms and flying down a mountain with no parachute for a very, very long time. Have you seen that? I think they're called wingsuits or something, bat wingsuits. The adrenaline that they have, their standard for extreme sports has gotten so much that they can't get their fix. similar to a junkie, an addict, whatever it is, where it just takes more to get the rush. This industry right now, my friends, the way that the real estate market is shaping up right now, getting a listing is very, very hard. The standard has been raised. The amount of calls it takes to get an appointment and then get that appointment to list with you has never been more difficult. Now, unless you're spending a ton of money in marketing or you've established yourself as a recognized brand in your community, you have an uphill battle, my friend. Are you charging as hard as you could, right? If it took, it's like I know the secret to weight loss, right? I know how to lose weight, right? Just eat less, work out. Easier said than done. Pick up the phones, make your calls. Easier said than done. You never want to have to, but you have to want to. Weight loss, for example. So many people, they don't lose weight until they have a heart attack and they're like, wake up call, I gotta go. Now I have to. Before, I didn't want to have to, so I didn't do it. And so you get so big, you have a heart attack, and then you're like, I better do this because I have to, not because I want to. You never want to have to, but you have to want to. These athletes, LeBron, Kobe, Tiger Woods, Steve Jobs, entrepreneurs, Elon Musk, you think they have to? Well, sure, they have to, but they want to. They really, really want to, and they have to be number one. It's not something, though, that someone else is forcing them to do it. They have set the standard on their own. They said, I want to be the best at this, and they set the bar, and that's it. Have you ever seen the people, like going back to the weight loss analogy, where you see like the before and after pictures? There's Instagram, you can see like before and after photos. I follow some trend. And you can see like someone's really, really out of shape, and then all of a sudden they're really in shape. What had to happen for them to go from really out of shape to ridiculously fit? They made a decision. That decision included a standard, a minimum operating procedure by which they would never alleviate from that again. There were no more cheat days. There were no more days off. They said this becomes a lifestyle. A standard is a lifestyle that you adopt and you never neglect again. You set that bar and say, that's it. For example, if you offered me heroin, like we're hanging out at a party and you go, hey man, here's some heroin, here's a needle, have some. I would say, I don't want to, I'm not going to do heroin. I'll watch, but I'm not doing heroin. I just won't do it. That is my standard, right? Is that your, like if I offered you heroin, would you say I'll have some? No, hopefully no. What I'm getting at though is like, I use that because most people just wouldn't just stick a needle in their arm and shoot up. That's a standard that we can all pretty much relate to and say, I won't do it, right? If you are an alcoholic and now you don't drink anymore, right? That's a hard standard. Or if you've been addicted to some substance or alcohol or cigarettes, and that temptation is always there. Or if once upon a time you were obese or you had an eating problem or you had something and then you said, never again, I will never drink again. And then somebody offers you a drink, what level of discipline does it take? Or does that discipline not mean anything because you now have a standard? Like we talk about a discipline and then we talk about a standard. A discipline means that you're fighting this willpower, like I really want that smoke or that drink. The other one is like, nope, not gonna happen, right? The heroin example. I don't really want to do it, so I won't do it. It's not like I desire this feeling because everybody talks about it being so great. It's like, no, it's a standard. There's no desire. You have to separate or engage a standard by which you're willing to succeed in the business and say, there is no negotiation anymore. And repeat after me, I set my goals every morning and I achieve them by the end of the day. I have a one-on-one student that kind of triggered this thing to me today. And they said, James, I just want to have my spirits up. I want to feel better about calling. I said, what could feel worse about calling is hitting the 8 o'clock mark and not hitting your standard. When you immediately decide, when you set that standard, when you say, I no longer have to. I want to. I want to lose the weight, and I have to, but I don't need to be forced because I want it. I don't need to be forced to make the calls. I want to make the call. And it's a very hard switch, right? It's not that easy to be like, ding, and all of a sudden you're like, I love cold calling. I get it. No, I don't get it. I'm just kidding. I don't get it. I don't have a problem cold calling because I'm watching movies. I'm enjoying myself. For me, I find a series on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. I have them all. And I say, wow, there's 7 seasons of XYZ. Boom, 2 weeks of prospecting in the pipe, right? I don't have a problem with it. I don't have call reluctance because I have this metronome. You want to call it a metronome, you want to call it a standard, a minimum operating precision. A metronome is like on piano players use them. It's that little triangle that goes tick, 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 and it keeps things in time. I have this internal metronome that when I get up in the morning and I know my alarm goes off at 9 a.m. because my Alexa app next door at 9 a.m. goes, it's 9 a.m. James should be prospecting. I have like programs that you can program your SIRI. I don't want to trigger anyone's devices, but you can program things to say you should be on the phones, which should in turn, like Pavlov's dog, right? The guy who rings the bell. Pavlov was a psychologist or something, and he used to ring a bell and feed the dog. Ring a bell, feed the dog, so that when he would ring this bell, the dog would start salivating. Even if the dog didn't get any food, the dog would automatically be like, I'm getting food. That's how they train, lab rats and stuff. Be your own lab rat. Be your own dog, that when that bell rings, that when the countdown begins, when the elevator door opens, when your eyes wake up in the morning, that it is on. Ding, 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 showtime. That the minute you are on, that you're not off until you're done. And you always have more. At 9 a.m., I have that metronome in the back of my mind going tick, 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 James. It is going to be 8 o'clock anytime now, and I know you want to hit that 200 contacts a day because you want to generate 3 to 5 leads a day, because you realize that you have to generate up to about 100 leads a day to close 20 to 50 sides a year. That's the standard operating procedure. Now listen to me carefully though. The game has upped. Right now it is harder. Inventory is low. I mean, it's never been high. I've never had a listing agent say, hey man, it's too much inventory. That's never been a problem. I've never had a problem. Even when I have too many, I'm fine with too many because I'm doing business. But right now, to get a listing, it is so hard. Everybody's fighting for listings right now. What are you doing? Are you fighting? Are you in that game? Are you playing the game at the highest level possible to even consider yourself a contender? Like you talk about, when they talk about Kobe or LeBron, I don't watch basketball, but I know these guys really work hard, like of all the athletes. But they're the ones who show up early and stay late. Are you the one who hits the phones at 9 a.m. and doesn't stop until 8 p.m.? Are you doing that? Do you realize that if you go into your database and if you used to have 100 leads and it would sell 10 houses a year, that now you need 500 leads to sell 10 houses a year, which means you probably should have 700 leads to sell 20 houses a year. The math, it's taking more. It's kind of like when you get over age, right? Metabolism, like when you were a kid, you used to burn all these calories, right? I could never get fat no matter what I ate as a kid. And now you cross over 30, 40 years old, it's like, I gotta watch everything I eat. I could drink one beer and it's packed onto my hips the next day, right? You've got to consider your ability to play the game much harder. You have to work twice as hard as the competition. Maybe you got it easy. Maybe you're not watching this video if you got it easy. If you are struggling, but you are willing to work your tail off, you're willing to work harder than the competition, that's all it takes. You will not outwork me. That's the difference between me and my competition. They're doing it their way. It doesn't work for me. I do know, however, the basics: push-ups, sit-ups, run, jump, hike, swim, like the fundamentals. I don't need a gym to get fit. I go out and run, right? I don't need a lead source or an inquiry source from the internet to sell real estate. I don't need my broker or manager to feed me leads to sell real estate. I know, and you now know, that all you need to know is that if you know how to prospect and you're watching what I'm teaching, you're ahead of the game. You're fortunate now that if you are listening to what I have to teach, then you have the ability to not worry about it. At the end of the day, you don't have to, because you want to. And at the end of the day, you can feel better about your situation because you did, in fact, give it all you got. You woke up in the morning and you said, 9 a.m., I'm hitting the phones and I'm not getting off. I don't care if I hit 100 by 1 o'clock. If my schedule says 0 and my bank account doesn't have enough zeros, then the only option right now is to stay on the phones. Unless you're paying money to the internet gods and they're blessing you with their inquiries and you're converting them, you are just like me, sitting in the trenches, sweating, whether you're stand-up desk or sit-down desk, whether your eyes are bulging and your screen is hot, and it's just mind-boggling how many hours you have to sit here to do this. Unless you pay someone to do it for you, you have to do it yourself. I don't have that luxury. I have to work. But guess what? I don't care. I want to. My ability to understand the computers, the technology, lead generation, follow-up, all this stuff. I mean, I taught myself how to edit the video. I taught myself. Everything I know is self-taught. It's because I want to. It's not because I have to. It's good to think that you have to. I'm sure a lot of agents out there, they're like, I have to learn video. Well, if you think to yourself, I have to learn my technology, you're never going to learn it. Because nobody wants to have to. You don't want to, especially in this day and age. This device right here, I'm recording on it. Our technology is one big fat not right now. It doesn't feel good. This is just an endorphin, an adrenaline rush, the dopamine hits that you get from doing this not right now, not right now, not right now. That's all we're doing is not right now because we don't have to. And guess what? We don't have to, so why would we want to? I don't have to. Same goes for those of you who have a second income or you have an option not to sell real estate. So many of my followers, I don't know what they do because they don't have to sell real estate. I know why that whole average of, they say that real estate agents as a whole sell 2 houses a year, right? Have you heard that one where the average agent sells 2 houses a year? I know why. Because they don't have to. They have an option. I don't have an option. I got a big house payment, I got car payments, and I got 4 kid payments, right? Well, 3.5. One's doing all right. But I don't have a choice. I have to. But you see, if I have to, then I don't want to because I don't want to have to. So I have to want to. And the only way I'm able to convert that into I have to want to is to find the way the game works for me. Train myself to enjoy playing the game like the athletes do, right? When you watch the greats, not just the athletes, but the entrepreneurs, the thinkers, the great minds of our time, they did it because they wanted to. There was this passion in it, right? There was this desire. They said, I want to. And you see the number 1 agents in your town, right? Sometimes you'll see like their shooting star, they come up, they become a number 1 agent, and then they fade off for the rest of their career because they had this desire. They really wanted to. They had this passion, enthusiasm. Everybody they knew, they become agents. And then once they realize that they have to, before they wanted to. Remember getting your license? Oh, I want to get in real estate. Oh, that looks like so much fun. I want to. And then once you find out how this game is played, you're like, ooh, I have to do that? That's what I have to do? And either you stick to it and you maintain a career, or you do the shooting star thing, or you just completely and you walk into, through osmosis, right? Through proximity, you land your 2 deals a year, and before you know it, you're out of the business, just no one tells you, and you haven't had to renew your cards because you're not handing them out because you're not doing any business. I'm not talking to the people who don't have to. I'm not even talking to the people who want to. I'm talking to the people who really, really have to want to. I hope this makes sense. You have to want to. You have to have such burning desire and know that your back is up against the wall. If you're not interested in working your butt off to sell residential real estate, please do me a favor, get out of the business. Because there are people who are really, really, really working hard for what you get easily. Don't take the 2 extra deals a year from us. Just get out of the business. Don't do 2 deals, just leave. Go do something you want to do. Clearly, if you're only doing 2 sides a year, you don't want to do this. Yeah, definitely don't have to. You're just doing whatever. Give us those scraps, okay? We'll take them. Let the 10% take 90% of the business like we're used to. But step out of the way. It don't matter anyhow, because the majority of you agents right now, there is a big toilet being flushed in the industry. If you haven't noticed, a lot of you turds are swirling around there, clinging on, but trust me, very soon, that vortex is going to suck you into somewhere else, because there's just no way that real estate agents are going to be able to survive this next round of whatever's coming, good or bad, that the competition has not stepped up. We as a technology advancement have been light years over the last 5 months. Ooh, hallelujah, that we've finally got agents to figure out how to turn on a camera and talk to it, that they figured out how to touch the screen, that they figured out how to interact digitally, right? So now the bar was raised for everybody who was doing good, but now they had to kind of figure it out. Now what's going to happen? The next generation of real estate agent, they're going to come in young and hungry and smarter than you. There's always someone looking to take your business. There's always someone looking to take those 2 extra deals a year. But when they start coming in, they figure out how to do 4 and they double their income, that's more off your plate. As the inventory remains to go down and down and down, you are going to be left to fight for the scraps. Are you able to go out and find the business yourself and leave the scraps for the little ones? Or are you going to sit around and wait for the business to gobble you up? Trust me, you don't want to have to, but you have to want to. If you want to know more about working really, really hard to get paid a lot of money, find me. I do one-on-one coaching. It's at jamesfestini.com. Please hit the subscribe button. Become a member on YouTube. Join that membership, and all of a sudden this portal will open up with all of my knowledge. You just click play, binge watch my stuff, and trust me, I will get you lead generating and closing business the only way I know how, the hard way. Yeah, it's the hard way. Because if it's not working, it might not be work. Please join my league on Mojo, right? I forgot to mention that. I always do. Thank you very much for watching, and get back to work.
People ask me all the time, where do I get my data? How do I have so many good numbers without spending an arm and a leg? Because I recommend you get it from 3 places, and I merge them to create the ultimate white pages. 2 of them are Cole Realty Resources and TelephoneList.biz. They will provide you names, addresses, phone numbers, along with email addresses scrubbed against the Do Not Call list, available for both US and Canada. Now, you know I do a lot of door knocking, and my favorite app to use is Realty Buddy, a GPS tracking software with robust goal setting and follow-up campaigns. Realty Buddy takes care of the hassle, and Realty Buddy is the success to my door knocking. It's only available on iOS though, so sorry Android, but I will recommend Knockwise. They're really good too. Now, have you seen my amazing local market videos for my real estate business? In one word, Terradatum. They make videos branded to your brokerage and automatically update them every month with videos by zip code, county, city, and your hyper-local market, and it's extremely affordable. Have you guys seen my website lately? Well, you should. It's absolutely gorgeous. I owe it all to Zentap. They will help you with your advertising using your MLS, IDX, and social media to attract an audience and engage your leads using sophisticated bots. Now, you're gonna need a powerful CRM to manage all of this, and as you know, Mojo Selling Solutions is more than just a dialer. It's the most powerful CRM bar none. Mojo provides you expireds for sell by owners, and that is the 3rd list of data, along with email and mail campaigns. For more information on any of these products, along with my personal coaching and training products, go to jamesfestini.com today. Or just show financial support at any amount on patreon.com/James Festini. Now, get back to work.